Hello, my name is ZCharles. I am presenting a case study on the stages of the plan change process for a client, which includes the engagement phase, the assessment phase, the planning stage, the intervention, the evaluation, and the termination phases. The case that I am presenting today is on a client who resides in a small personal care facility that caters to individuals with serious and persistent mental illness. Majority of the clients have a diagnosis of schizophrenia and also suffer from other medical diagnoses such as high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, heart problems, just to mention a few. The mission of the facility is to provide services to our clients in a loving, therapeutic community which fosters positive change, personal growth, and the ability to help our clients reach their full potentials. The engagement stage. Here is a list of some of the main themes of the engagement stage for the client. One-on-one client engagement, daily therapeutic programming, engagement from a strengths-based perspective, and positive reinforcement. When dealing with the client on a one-on-one basis, a lot of prompting, encouraging, and cheering her on was always necessary to reassure her that she had the strength to meet her goals while always remembering to meet the client where she was at. I also encouraged the client to attend all therapeutic programming that was offered within the facility, which I sometimes facilitated or just joined in for moral support for the client. The groups she often attended were social skills groups, art and music therapy groups, exercise groups, and medication management groups. Often, I had the challenge of using positive reinforcement with the client because some of the struggles that she had and some of the havoc that she often tended to create throughout the facility with staff and clients. I had to do a lot of de-escalating and role-playing with the client to remind her of the situation that she was in and ways that it may have been handled differently for her to have a better outcome. The client assessment. The client assessment consists of a breakdown of the client's bio, psycho-social analysis. The client is a 40-year-old, upper-class Caucasian female of Catholic background. Her biological restraints consist of, but are not limited to, her being obese, hearing impaired, she has hypertension, and she also has a pacemaker, which gets monitored on a monthly basis inside of our facility. The psychological restraints consist of her being diagnosed as schizoaffective disorder and an access to borderline personality disorder. These disorders at times make her have very poor judgment. They cause irritability, agitation, aggression, hallucinations, and delusions. The client's social restraints consist of her not being able to function comfortably around people in a social setting. She has a lack of education due to the onset of her illness and has very minimal family support. Within the client assessment, these are her strengths and supports. She resides at the Spirit of Gill, which is a safe and secure environment. She gets one-on-one case management to work on any needs that she needs to be met on a one-on-one basis. She has compeer services that she utilizes, which is an outside agency that matches her up with another person who may have some of her same themes of her illness, but are on a better level than she is. She has therapeutic support groups. She has individualized treatment. She has a higher socioeconomic status. And DPW and Mental Health Systems of Pennsylvania, which dictate the policy and regulations where the client resides. The planning phase. The client's ultimate goal is to be able to live independently on her own. The client's objectives are med compliance, self-medication administration, social appropriateness, total self-care. She needs to maintain her baseline. She needs to stay out of the hospital, and she needs to have more engagement with her family. More objectives for the client in the planning phase are for her to participate in day programs, look for work, whether it's voluntary or paid. She needs to engage in meaningful activities, maintain a structured, scheduled routine, and continue to attend the therapeutic groups that are offered at the facility. Interventions. The interventions for the client are that she continued group and individual therapy, the interventions incorporated are that the client continued group and individual therapy, specifically dialectical behavior therapy, which is a type of therapy where the main goal is to teach the client skills to cope. The interventions incorporated are that the client continued group and individual therapy, specifically dialectical behavior therapy, which is a type of therapy where the main goal is to teach the client skills to cope with stress, regulate emotions, and improve relationships with others. The client will continue medication management. She will receive one-on-one case management and continue to receive training on illness self-management and life skills. She is able to self-help the evaluation. When the client is in adherence to her prescribed medication regimen and she is attending groups, she maintains her baseline. She is able to self-help, meaning that she maintains her activities of daily living, including bathing, teeth brushing, and so on and so forth. She maintains social appropriateness and has a meaningful day. When the client is not following her regimen and attending groups, she tends to decompensate quickly. She refuses medication. She demonstrates breakthrough psychosis and hallucinations. She responds to internal stimuli and becomes a candidate for self-harm, suicidal, and homicidal ideations. The termination process. In the last month of my internship, I began to process the termination process. In the last month of my internship, I began to process the termination phase with the client. During that time, we reviewed progress. We identified client strengths and barriers. The client began to withdraw interest from case management, and it was beginning to feel like I was working harder than she was. We reviewed what goals she had and her plans moving forward. Then the conversation was opened up for any questions that she may have and referrals she may need in the future. After the termination period, I stayed at the personal care facility where I continued to work with the mentioned client, but at a different capacity. Again, my name is ZCharles. In this presentation, I covered a case about a client living in a personal care facility and the stages of the plan change process, which again included the engagement phase, assessment, planning, intervention, evaluation, and the termination phase. I hope to have explained the stages of the plan change process as it applies to this case. Here are the references for the peer-reviewed section. Here are the references for the interventions from a peer-reviewed standpoint.